Welcome back to another episode of B Harold's Cars. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Audi TTRS Jelly Bean Edition. Oh, it's not the Jelly Bean Edition? Just the RS.
I ain't catching the case. 20 bands, 30 bands in your face when I leave the scene. I ain't leaving a trace. All up on me, gotta give me some space. Blowing up, you can't keep with the pace. Had to turn up the bass. Calling out a lot, put you in place. They was steady talking, now they see me blowing up. Gotta reach the sky, so you know I'm pouring up. I don't care what you bang.
Being on the road with the TTRS, oh my God. Now I'm gonna start with the engine like we always do. Under the hood, we have a 2.5 liter turbocharged 5-cylinder engine. And that's right, I said 5 cylinders. It's not a 4, it's not a 6, it's not a rumbling V8. It's this popcorny, crackling, beautifully sounding 5-cylinder engine. Now it produces 394 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. And I'll tell you, the torque, that 354 comes in around 1700 RPM. It hits you like that. Now the Audi TT was first brought to the public in 1995. The people wanted a sports car from Audi, and at that time, Audi just wasn't delivering one. But when they first debuted it at the auto show, people went crazy. Everyone went bananas. They absolutely loved it. Regarding the design of it, the fluidity of the design, just everything about it, the interior, everything, and I mean everything. Now, a crazy thing, when the Audi TT first debuted in '98, there was actually a lot of fatalities with the car. The press was all over Audi. Some people say it had to do with the stability control, with the suspension. There was no rear spoiler. My personal opinion, maybe it's because it was such a fluid design. There was no downforce at all, and it was just shaped completely symmetrical, and it almost looked like one shape. At the time, people just haven't seen something like that come from Audi, but people were definitely happy when Audi decided to bring it out. Then, in 1998, it first went on sale, and they started selling like hotcakes. Fast forwarding all the way to 2010, Audi came out with the TTRS. But I'll tell you guys a funny story, okay? So here in the American market, we didn't get the RS model originally. Only in the European market and some of the Asian automotive markets did they get the model. So how did they bring it over to America? There was actually a petition that was made. Now listen to this. Over 11,000 people signed that RS petition. I mean, those are some true Audi fans. Nothing against Audi at all, but you gotta be a true Audi fan to even sign that petition. And I say that because that definitely means people really wanted this car. Now, when that car came out, the car had 335 horsepower. And like I said, the one we're in has 394, and this thing moves. You give this baby full throttle, 100% you feel like you're going through a time warp.
You know, it's stuff like this that raises our insurance rates.
Now, all around the car, we have 20-inch rims. It's a 255 by 30 tire. It is a very low-profile tire, and with rims as big as 20 inches too, the ride is definitely noisy and it can get a little uncomfortable. But I'll tell you this, in a car like this, do you care about comfort? No. Well, at least I don't. I can see though how some people would want to use this as a daily. It is a good daily. I mean, I don't mind the rough ride, but for the most part though, I completely understand why this car is so stiff. Now, something super interesting about this all-wheel drive system is that it's a Haldex all-wheel drive system. So what does that mean? Basically, it's very front-wheel drive biased. And when I say very front-wheel drive biased, to me, it's basically front-wheel drive. Now, the way Haldex works is it'll only send torque or power to the rear in case there's a slippage or emergency in the wheel and the front wheels cannot find any traction at all. So even on the city streets, and most of the times even on the canyon, especially when cruising, all those times when you're driving, it's just front wheel drive. Unless you really understeer a lot, the rear wheels are not going to get any torque at all. I want to talk about the exterior of this vehicle because it is absolutely menacing looking. It's so aggressive in the front, it's so aggressive on the sides, and so aggressive in the rear. And here on the RS, we get it blacked out, which is actually part of the black optic package that Audi offers. It's a very, very well done package from them, and I highly recommend it, right? Because this is an RS model. I'm not in a TT, I'm not in a TTS, I'm in a TTRS. And I say that because I think Audi is very careful on what they put the RS badge on. As you know, we have the Audi RS7, we have the Audi RS5, and we have the Audi RS3. Here, you have the nice air inlets on the side, and they're real. Well, they're real in the front, not in the rear of the vehicle. If you see over here, we have these fake air inlets. Typical Audi fashion, they do that in a lot of their vehicles. I mean, by now, I think you guys just have to get used to it. The taillights are a very simplistic design. They look really good. You can option them out for an OLED taillight. That's around $1,600. The wheel arches on this car are just absolutely massive. I love how they're super pronounced, and you can automatically recognize them the second you walk up to the vehicle. Here in the TTRS, 0 to 60 is around 3.6 seconds, I believe. In the RS3, it's around 4.1 seconds. So that obviously shows you a lightweight car like this having an advantage. The interior of this car is just super well built. It feels solid and sturdy, and there's not too much creakiness going on. Something that I really like is the Alcantara on the steering wheel. When you're driving spiritedly, it definitely helps you grip the road better. There's some nice Alcantara on the doors. That's really cool. Regarding the boot of the vehicle, we have about 12 cubic feet of space back there. And I'll tell you this, the only thing you should ever be putting back there is groceries, gym bags, or anything else that you want to bring that's not a person. The rear seats of the TT are horrible. They're extremely small, but then again, when you're buying a vehicle like this, I don't know why you'd want to have 4 people in it. Has always been a vehicle to me that kind of doesn't fit in a specific category. Now, some of the rivals are like the Porsche 718, the Jaguar F-Type, and some people even say the Corvette. So far, I've been driving in comfort mode, and the suspension does not feel comfortable at all. It's a very stiff suspension here on the Audi TTRS, and I think that's something buyers want when they buy this vehicle. You're not getting a TT, you're not getting a TT Roadster, nor are you getting a TTS. This is the RS. If you're buying this specific model, you are performance focused 100%. With that being said, I'm gonna take it out of comfort. I'm gonna put it into auto. It's not a whole lot different, to be honest. It feels kind of similar. I do notice that the throttle pedal is a little more sensitive, so you can give it power exactly when you want it to. Now I put it in dynamic mode. And something that's also cool about the Audi TT is that it has an exhaust button. And I mean a literal exhaust button. There's an actual button with the picture of 2 exhaust tips that you press, and it changes the exhaust note from standard to sport. Okay, so now we're in dynamic and my exhaust is in sport. Let's see how this thing handles and how it sounds. You do feel the suspension stiffen up a little bit. To me, the most noticeable difference is that the steering tightens up. You can also feel the throttle pedal tightening up, and to me, the brakes even feel a little bit more sensitive. Over here, we have the gear selector. It feels really good. It's super easy to use. It's kind of similar to the BMW iDrive system if you guys saw in my 7 Series video. If you guys look into your gauge cluster, you start out with vehicle, and then that tells you your date, time, and some other cool features. You have radio and Bluetooth, and you can get Apple CarPlay on here, which is definitely a nice feature to have. I also like that Audi puts their infotainment system right in front of the driver, because this is a driver-focused car. There's no glaring screen in the middle of your dashboard. One of the top coolest things I think about this infotainment system is that for the navigation system specifically here, it takes up your entire gauge cluster. Now, the clarity of the screen, it definitely could be a little better. Just the graphics on it are so cool. They're big, they're super easy to read, and they're just very user-friendly. Thank you so much for watching another episode of B Harold's Cars. If you like this video, drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Like, subscribe, put the bell notifications on. I'll see y'all next time.